And welcome back to the next episode of the Million Dollar Coach podcast. And today I'm very excited to have the one and only Virtuous Coach sitting across from me, Farran Mackay. How are you?
Lisa, thank you very much for having me on. I'm doing great today. So yeah, looking forward to this chat.
Yeah, awesome. I've been trying to get you on for a little while because I think you have an amazing voice in the particularly the coach development space, and it's a good opportunity for everyone to get to know you a little bit more behind the work that you do. So maybe we can kick off with a little bit about that as your journey into CrossFit and then coaching, and then we can dig about how Virtuous came about.
Yeah. I think everybody has a story about how they first came across CrossFit as such. For me, it was probably about 10 years ago. We were doing a burpee challenge to raise funds for mental health awareness. And there was a group on Facebook who would video what they were doing as a sort of, to prove that they're doing it. And I remember seeing a video of this woman, and she was maybe about 5 years older than me. And she wasn't just doing burpees, she was doing burpee pull-ups. And I was like blown away because I had never seen someone who was like me doing something like that. And so then started the conversation, what do you do? And she was like, CrossFit. Okay, interesting. So that was part of the back of my mind for a while. Busy time in life. And then a friend goes, well, I've started doing this thing around the corner from you. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Would you like to come? I go, yeah, what is it? She's like, oh, CrossFit. I'm like, okay, I will. Yeah. I had, and I, to be honest, I really knew not much about it. I knew it was some form of fitness, but I hadn't researched it. My friend said it was fun. I was like, yeah, let's go along. I walked in, and at that point, it was the box that I still go to UAC. They had a small section of the warehouse, and I remember sitting on the stairs watching the class before me, and the workout of the day was Fran, and there's these people. Always, yes. And I remember watching these people with barbells, and I was like, how can it be so hard to do what they're doing? Yeah. And then, of course, I experienced it myself and discovered, now you have to remember, I'd never touched a 15-kilo barbell in my life. So I had no appreciation of what that really felt like, and certainly no appreciation of what a thruster felt like. So yeah, add that to some banded pull-ups. And I remember thinking, lying on the ground afterwards going, what just happened? And I want to do that again. So yeah.
Which is the common thread, I think, through everyone's journey is like my first workout was death by 10 meters. And, I was not a runner, and I'm still not a runner, but, lying on the ground at the end going, I want to do that again. Like, what was that? And I want more of that. And I think that's a common thread through everybody who, had an introduction and they go, that was awful, but I want to do that again. And something compelling about it, which is really weird, because normally something that awful, you'd be like, yeah, I'm out. This is not fun. You told me it was fun. This is not fun. But we found that element of fun in there.
Yeah. And I think for me, it was also up until that point, so in my youth, as a teenager, I used to sail a lot. And I mean, every weekend, every spare holiday, I'd be on the water racing. And then, I started studying. I started working actually as an engineer, and sailing kind of put a bit in the back burner. I think I just wanted to be a bit of a young adult for a while, enjoying my partying time and stuff. And then I found myself as an engineer working. I started off in Ireland and I moved to the Netherlands, and I discovered I was still looking for something to do. And at that moment, I found snowboarding, which is quite ironic since there's no mountains in the Netherlands. But at least we're close enough to the mountains that it was more doable than from Ireland. Threw myself into that. What I'd done is sailing. I'd also instructed sailing as such. Then I threw myself into snowboarding as my passion alongside my work. Also became an instructor in that. You can see a pattern forming here.
Yes.
Then I decided to leave the engineering world, and I wanted to open my own company up in Canada, a snowboarding company. But unfortunately, life has another plan for you. There was a big economic crash, and I ended up staying in the Netherlands. And someone said to me, do you know what? Maybe it's an idea to get some work as a maths teacher, because they're looking for native English maths teachers in this in this high school. I was like, okay, fine. And that's when I discovered the world of really teaching others, not just instructing others, but teaching others. And as I went along, I realized I want to learn more about this. And I ended up doing research, a master's and research in education, with a focus on teacher practice and how you can help teachers improve their teaching practice. Because often teachers went to courses and they found these brilliant ideas and they're like, yes, I want to do this. I want to bring this back to my school. They go back and everything else in their environment is the same. And what happens, they try hard for a week or two to put these new learnings into practice, but it seems the whole environment around them is not quite as ready for the change. And they end up falling back into their old teaching practices. So yeah, I started a journey on researching how to help teachers in this field. At the same time, I discovered CrossFit, and I ended up doing my level 1, had a chat with the box owners where I train, Nathan and Frauke, and I don't think they were quite expecting that it was a job interview. I don't think I was expecting it was a job interview either, but I ended up being a part-time coach there. And then as life would have it, I had to give up formal teaching and education. And it was more an opportunity of having to sit and reflect about where are my strengths? Where's my knowledge? At the same time, for a long time, I'd been pondering about how CrossFit education and training is organized for coaches. There's the level 1 and level 2, there's online courses, there's resources, but there's a huge hole about really supporting coaches and trainers in improving their practice as such. And since that's what I had done all my research in, I'd spent 15 years in the teaching world, in the formal education world, I was like, I think there are elements of this that I can bring along to the CrossFit ecosystem and to help the trainers and the coaches be even better at what they do, and in turn help more people change their lives. So I think that's the short version of how I ended up really focusing on the development of coaches within CrossFit.
And you're right, there's so much available in regards to the technical skills. So you can, watch a million videos on how to teach a squat, how to fix an air squat, how to, program, there's a million things. And when you go, your L2 is more practical coaching. Your L3 is clearly academic, it's past the exam, and your L4 is more, put it all together and let's see it, in play on the floor. But it's very much all very skill competency based versus all the sort of kind of gray area stuff around the periphery that you really need to be a good coach. And having those deeper skills and for regular listeners, you will have heard us talk a lot about the difference between coaching and training and teachers. And, there's definitely a place for trainers in the ecosystem where, we need people to teach the foundation stuff. But that next level of being a coach requires a greater awareness and diversity around people and behaviors and motivations and affecting change than just squat deeper.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the things as a coach, you have to have such not only a deep understanding of people, but also a deep understanding of yourself and where you're coming from, and why, when you see a certain situation, why you react in a certain way. And that's something that's not often touched upon in the general ecosystem. There's a lot of pushing towards reflect on what you've done, how you can change it, but there's very little in digging deep into the why. Where did this come from? Why have I chosen to act this way? And so that's where I see the opportunity for coach development going forward, is not just looking at, as you said yourself, the skills or the 6 competencies that CrossFit name, but also going deeper into the understanding people and understanding yourself as such. Yeah.
And being able to look in the mirror and, have that, Tony and I were just on doing the FitFilliate podcast, and we talked about, people asking for help versus, wanting help or whatever. But it's having that vulnerability to go, well, maybe I need to change what I'm doing and where I'm at. And, for affiliate owners, particularly, the journey to building a team of coaches can be quite tricky and a challenge, because usually it's like, hey, Farran, you come to 5 a.m., you like coaching, do you want to run that class? Great. And then suddenly you've got 8 or 10 people all doing, various hours or various this, or, trying to pull everyone together. And it's like, okay, well, just don't kill anyone. And
yeah, just make sure no one dies. That's good enough. Yeah.
No one dies. And if they get a few high fives, that's a great class. So, helping affiliate owners understand the value of going deeper with coach development, more so than like, all right, it's 10 minutes as part of our staff meeting. Like, let's go through the points of performance for a split check. How much value that can bring to the affiliate. And I know that you started Virtuous, I guess, at the affiliate you were part of and starting to grow that. What do you think, or why were you so passionate about giving affiliate owners that understanding and that education around the value of really developing the team in all these other aspects and making it a priority?
Yeah, making it a priority. So I think if we look at CrossFit in the sense of wanting to change lives, at the end of the day, the people who are on the front line of doing that are the coaches. And so if we're not supporting the coaches in their own development, in improving people's lives, then what are we actually doing? Yeah, it's, it's just like sending some people in, some mannequins dressed up in uniforms out in front of the front line. Yeah, they're not going to they're going to maybe fool some people for a bit of the time, but you're never going to get really long-lasting change in behaviors and things like that. And so I saw within the ecosystem itself, and also talking to fellow coaches, that there was this real desire, there was this more awareness that something was missing as such, and there's this desire to improve themselves. And that's why I find it always such a privilege when a coach invites me into their lesson to observe and give them feedback and things like that, because it's really a sense of, I know there's something here that can be improved on, and I really would love some support in doing that.
And that goes above, doesn't it? Not just a coaching evaluation where you're assessing for, are you doing the things, did you talk at the whiteboard? Did you cover the brief? All the what's, I guess. When someone asks you for feedback and review as a coach, you're looking at the whole picture, not just what did you say, what points of performance did you cover?
Yeah, it's certainly not just tick the boxes. But just like with coaching any of the movements you have a list of priorities of things that you look at. And it depends on the coach's experience and what they want support in already, and what you've agreed with them is what you look at. But I certainly look at the whole picture, and also how they, not just what they say, but how they interact with others, how they bring the group along with them, how they support individuals. And it could be how they switch roles from one individual to another, or maybe they haven't. So it's looking at all those finer details in coaching practices is it's what often that I do the most.
Yeah. And that's, you're definitely right. That is lacking in the ecosystem. There are, as we talk about often on this podcast and the FitFilliate podcast, there's a lot of gurus and mentors out there that will tell you about coach development, but really it's just more of the, the technical, the training aspect. Not a coaching moment was harmed in the making of this content at that time. And because it's hard, like it's deep work, it's hard, it requires that vulnerability on both sides. And for you as a coach developer, then you need to create that environment where they're safe and comfortable to explore those things and to ask those questions and be open with what their struggles are. It's not simply a matter of, here's more things to read and do, and that'll make you better.
No, I completely agree with you, Lisa. In that sense, I do spend a lot of effort in making sure I build up a good learning relationship with the coaches and affiliate owners I'm working with, because we are digging deep into some of their deep beliefs as such, and you want to be respectful of them because this is something deep inside them. And I'm not going to come in and say, oh, you should be doing A, B, and C. Everything you're doing is wrong. No, the whole point about the whole point about coaching, and everyone's squash is that tiny bit different. So how everybody coaches is also that tiny bit different. If I try to copy exactly the squat of somebody else, it's not going to work well for me. It's going to feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to look like I'm moving that well. But if I can squat in a way that suits my own body, then that's the most ideal and most efficient for me as well. So it's the same approach with coaches. They all have their own little ways of doing things. And in that sense, nothing's completely wrong and completely right, apart from letting somebody die or something like that in the training.
That would be a little bit completely wrong.
That would be a bit wrong. But it's that idea of that you're trying to make sure that they stay still true to themselves and who they are. And because as a coach, you need to come from that perspective of being open and also vulnerable yourself and able to help somebody else on their journey.
And, that was one of the core messages that, when I was in my affiliate and I ran a coach development program and to onboard new coaches. And one of the things is like, here's the things you need to talk about in a class, but you need to have your own language. You don't need to be a carbon copy of me. Because if I'm the best coach in this facility, I'm doing something wrong. Then you're limited to where I'm at. And, I would point them in the direction, read your level 1 manual. You need to study these things. You need to know these for the test. But our in-classroom sessions are going to focus on the art of coaching and, all the nuancy stuff behind, because if you can tell me how many grams of carb are in an apple, but you can't connect with members, that's not going to work for me. I can teach you to teach, but I can't teach you to give a shit. But I can't do that care factor. So
the care factor.
Yeah, and that was the focus. But I also said, don't be a carbon copy of me. Like, yes, here are our points of performance, but find your own language and rhythm. Because what you have to say will resonate with somebody else.
Exactly. And to be honest, in the beginning, for certainly new coaches, a lot of it is copying coaching practice or training practice that they've seen from other people and trying it out and seeing how it works, seeing how it feels. Is really a lot of exploring as such coaching practices. And that's where you hope that they have the guidance into continue exploring and to reflect, okay, this does work well for me. I think we've all experienced moments in training sessions where a coach or a trainer is saying something or doing something and it just doesn't quite feel right with them. And it doesn't quite end up with where you think it should go to, for example. And that's where you'd hope that, and that's where I hope I also support affiliate owners, head coaches, other coaches in giving new coaches the opportunity in the room to really experiment, but also reflect on their experiment as such.
Yeah. So let's touch a little on, your Virtuous Coach Development. It's, I love the name for a start. We talk a lot in CrossFit about virtuosity, and, we need to come back to that more and more, I think, particularly. But, what has made you passionate enough that you go, this is something that I really want to create a product and put that out into the ecosystem? And what's your goal for, Virtuous Coach?
I think my goal for Virtuous Coach is to make coach development something really important and vital and key in the ecosystem. And I'll be honest, I mean, I'd obviously love to do it all, but I think it should be a greater good as such. And it should be more awareness and more priority set to it. And so one of the things about Virtuous Coach is we inspire, elevate, and transform. That's our path. And even to inspire coaches and trainers to take the next step in their own development, whatever that is. And that's where we want to start off doing. And I think we also want to give, or I also want to give coaches and trainers the opportunity to understand there are other ways of coaching and training. Often a coach might have only ever experienced one type of training or coaching in a box from maybe one or two different people. And I'm a great believer is that you can learn so much from lots of different people. So it's also encouraging to go out and explore and drop in with other boxes and just see how other trainers and coaches do things. And to understand there are more ways to doing it than maybe you've just experienced yourself.
Yeah. And, you know, in your, I guess, journey of navigating this as something that you want to follow, you know, our experience at FitFilliate when we're working with clients is quite often affiliate owners get distracted with the idea of coach development. So I need to do that better. I need to have better stuff, but it's a distraction from the other things that they need to work on. But when it comes down to making coach development an actual thing and an actual priority, what do you think the challenges are that stop affiliate owners then actually, you know, okay, coach development's important to you, jump into the pond, let's go all in. But then they're like, oh, well, no, I just wanted to talk about coach development. I didn't want to go this far into it and realize that maybe I'm not great at it.
Well, I think that's probably the biggest challenge. And I liken it to not all athletes or members can become good trainers or even good coaches. And it's not always all trainers and coaches can become good coach developers as such. It's more to do with does the skill set does that align with you and your own interests and things like that? And coach development is hard. It's about not only understanding people, but understanding people. Yeah, so we've added this extra layer of complexity on top of everything. And so suddenly, if people think, okay, I'll set up my coach development, and usually it's really good on the, as you said yourself, you know, the movement side of things. That's usually pretty good within most affiliates who set it up. But they're missing then the next level of how do you make sure your trainers actually implement changes in their coaching practice? And how do they make sure that their coaching practice is not just effective, but efficient? So there's that it's like a lot of people can teach a beginner to squat for the first time, but how many people can help a beginner get to a virtuous squat? So it's that same kind of idea. Yeah.
Okay.
So at Virtuous Coach, what we aim to do is to help affiliates and head coaches not just set up a coach development system, but also give them the skills to help them understand people understanding people. We want to leave them with a system in place where they can continue growing and continue elevating and transforming their own coaching within their affiliate as such.
Yeah. So it's not that they need to have a Virtuous Coach staff member live with them all the time and do that for them. It's teach a man to, you know, give a man a fish he eats for a night. Let's teach, you know, give them the skills to then continue perpetuating this on and truly weaponizing their team and making it a powerful force for, you know, we open this thing, you're riding this line of owning an affiliate as a force for good. We want to now have people that work for you and work within your community to perpetuate, you know, that for you and to the best of their ability and to change and affect behavior change.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very much working with an affiliate to set up a system that also it also aligns with the affiliate itself, because every affiliate has their own vision and mission and things like that. So what we put in place, it's not a cookie cutter or a plug and play system. It's something that is for that affiliate, and it addresses that affiliate's not only their challenges at the moment of time, but also helping them create a future path for where they want to go to in the terms of coach development.
Yeah, and that's really fantastic because, you know, it can be, you know, back in the day, you know, affiliate owners were notorious for like, well, somebody can't program for my gym. They don't know my people as well as I do. And now, you know, there's a prevalence of programming service and affiliates are like, oh, cool, let's just sign up for that. And it's, you know, if someone comes in and goes, here's a coach development program, plug that in, then it doesn't fit your people, or, you know, it might be simply written for an affiliate that has full-time staff versus all just, you know, part-time casual staff. You very different perspective. But this model that you have is very, everyone's a different variation of Apple. They're all unique in their own way, and you're able to customize what they need. Does that also mean that, so if if I come to you as an affiliate owner and I'm, saying, well, here are my main struggles, and your ability is to cover, 10, 15 things, it's like, okay, well, we're going to pull out these menu items, which are the most important priorities for us as the focus. So is that an opportunity that it's not like we have to take everything, or let's take the things?
Yeah. And so, but this is where normally what happens when I start working with an affiliate, we do a sort of diagnostic phase as such, where, I dig a bit deeper with what's going on in the affiliate and also what's going on with the team. And then I can come up with a plan and going, okay, this is what I think are the steps that it will be good steps to take. And they align with your priorities and your needs in this way. But at the end of the day, all these things take, what's the word? They sometimes take, they can feel like big changes for an affiliate owner. It can feel like a big thing to take on. And so doing it in little portions is also completely fine. Yeah. And setting affiliates at least in the right direction or in a good direction for them is also good. And I have to say, if after the diagnostic phase, they don't feel like they want to work with me, that's also okay. I'll give them some tips along the way, and they can go and continue their journey. And likewise, if I feel like what I offer is not going to be the best match for them, I will also say, yeah, I don't think I'm the best match for you. I think maybe some other people, give them some ideas of what direction to go to, because I'm very clear with everybody I work with is that I'm focused on people. I'm focused on coaches, people development within the affiliate. I am not focused on how much you charge your members for their membership. I'm not focused on the average revenue a member brings in, something like that. No, I have a very, very specific part of the whole operation I look at, and if their needs are greater in another part, I will send them in that direction first.
Yep, and we talk here on the $1 Million Coach podcast as part of the $1 Million Coach program. This was formed to help coaches use their skills and knowledge in a way that they could develop products, package them, and sell them. And part of that is discovering your niche and who can I serve, what are the problems I can solve, and you are excellent. By having that clarity is staying in your lane. It would be very easy to get dragged down into, particularly as we said, some of these conversations are, vulnerable and challenging. So it'd be very easy for the affiliate to go, no, let's go focus over here because this is, let's talk about my ACV.
This shiny thing over here I want to talk about.
And it would be very easy to get dragged into the weeds. But you've been very clear from the get-go. It's like, this is my jam here. This is where I do my best work.
No, and to be honest, this is where all my skills and knowledge from the last, 25 plus years are all coming to a point, as such, to an apex. I mean, this is me. This is what I do. This is what I enjoy. This is what I'm passionate about. And yes, the numbers are important. At the end of the day, they have to pay their coaches, have to pay their trainers. That's all important. I'm not disagreeing with that, but that's not where my specialty lies in. So I'm like a scalpel. I'm like a scalpel instead of a kind of a sledgehammer.
Yeah, and it's and you need to it's we talk about finding your voice in the ecosystem, which you are very much starting to do for sure. People would look at the coach development landscape and go, well, it's really crowded. Why would I bother getting into that? There's already some amazing high profile coaches in that space. But when you have an understanding of what real coaching is, and then you can break it down and go, well, actually, that's more training and teaching. And being able to go, okay, well, this area is underserviced. And there's a need in this. And it's from our conversations, and I'm lucky enough I get to sit across from you each week in coaching calls and help you on this journey. But it's almost that you feel like you've got this compulsion to help in this space. Like, I have these superpowers, like I need to use them to further the cause.
Yeah.
Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I believe in CrossFit. I believe in the methodology. And yeah, I can coach people in the methodology, but I'm going to affect more people's lives if I coach coaches to coach the methodology, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
there's,
totally.
there's lots
100%.
of coaching involved. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think like most people in the CrossFit space, they want to improve other people's lives. And so this is my way of helping improve other people's lives.
Yeah. And it's, and I can completely relate to that. I know when I started coaching clients for FitFilliate, it was, well, I could affect, if I can help 5 affiliate owners be better, then potentially I'm helping 500, 600, 1,000 people lead better lives through CrossFit, because those affiliates are more robust and their affiliate owners are living their passion and fulfilling their just cause and their mission. So I totally understand that. Excuse me. So I guess to take almost like a little side bend, you've got this thing that you believe is important and is needed, and it demonstrated in the affiliate that you worked at, like it's been very valuable there. What led you down the path to seek out having your own coach as part of this journey?
I don't think I'd be very true to the idea of coaching if and saying that coaches need coaches if I didn't myself also need a coach. I think regardless of your own knowledge and your own skills, it's always good to have someone to be able to hold up that mirror to you and to help you reflect on those moments that maybe you're trying to avoid as such, like you do very well, Lisa. Because it's usually in those difficult moments, those moments where we feel uncomfortable, where we can get our most learning from, and we can progress much further, much faster. If somebody helps us really address those moments. And so for me, yeah, it wasn't rocket science as such, that I knew I needed a coach, and I needed a coach that also important, that aligned with my general values and strategies as such. And certainly that's one of the things that drew me to FitFilliate, is this, certainly like me, this whole believing that there's no cookie cutter approach as such, that every person, every individual, every affiliate is different. And yeah, everybody has the same general issues, but where they're coming from and how someone reacts to them is very individual as such. So yeah, from there.
Because I mean, everyone's experiences, and we often talk, Tony and I on the FitFilliate podcast about, we keep bringing our trauma forward into things, and it's lessons we've learned, paths, things that have gone right or wrong are different for everyone. So, and that's going to play into how you react to things, how you accept things, how you even think and process things. And I actually, what you say there is important, I think, is that once you experience like true coaching for yourself, it becomes much easier to convey the value of that to somebody else, because you're like, you get to experience it and understand it. And you're like, oh, well, if I find this so powerful, then I'm doing this similar thing, then there's so much more it makes it easier for you almost to see the value in what you do, because you find the value in it for yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think when I was a teacher, a high school teacher as such, people asked me, why do you teach? And I would used to explain, it was for the aha moments, where you had this kid struggling through a concept or an idea, and they kept fighting for it. They're like, aha, type reaction.
Got it.
And they didn't even have to say to you, you could hear it and it was just moments of, that's it. That's why you want to help someone get that aha moment. So, yeah.
And it is. Well, but I mean, even in your own journey, like through our relationship, coaching, you've had quite a few of those little moments yourself. And it's like, you made the comment last week, is like, you always push me to think about the things that challenge me and to not like avoid them, keep them to the side, and just asking questions. I'm never telling you what to do, because your business and what you want to get out of it, that's your path. It's like, I believe in you enough that you have your own solutions. So I'm just going to ask those questions.
Yeah, and you know what? It takes it takes a certain amount of risk as such, and trust, to go and find out more information about yourself and really get a reflection from somebody else. Whether that means you're an affiliate owner and you're actually asking for not just a score for your coaches or anything like that, but actually feedback from your members about how they experience their coaching. I mean, that can be quite risky to do, in the sense of, okay, I have this information, I now have to do something with it. However, if we don't do things like that, or if I don't have a coaching session with you making me look through the difficult moments, then we're missing the step that helps us take that first leap into our development and our own development as such. And without the idea of knowing, of getting reflection, of getting feedback of where we are, where we're perceived, then it's very difficult for us then to change our own behaviors. Yeah.
And I think that feedback process, when done well, is the first foundation in building that trust and that deeper relationship. So, too often as affiliate owners, we're like, I'm not doing a member survey. That's just fraught with peril. Like, I want to go get kicked in the teeth today. Cool. I'll go and do a member survey and find out all the things I suck at and all the things the members want that, may or may not be practical. But, when it's done in the context of the coaching and having the coaches understand, this is not just about like sledge the coach. This is me having it, and me, instead of me getting that going, hey, Farran, like 9:30 a.m. think your jokes are crap and they don't like the music you put on. Go fix it. It's very different. And then culturally within the box, the members see that development, so they become more receptive to coaching, but they become more honest in their feedback, more so than just Farran plays crap music at 9:30 or whatever. It becomes that everything in that relationship and that ecosystem within the box strengthens, which can only add value.
No, exactly, because you're actually strengthening the connection between the members and the coaches as well. Because when the members see the coaches working on themselves, they're also inspiring the members to work further on themselves and not just accept that sloppy squat in the corner or wobble or whatever. And I think, and this is one of the things I try and guide affiliates through, is how do you navigate the world of collecting data and then not just analyzing it, but trying to analyze it without emotion. Because you read things and we're all human and you will have an emotive response to it. But how do you go from that stage to going, okay, but what does this really mean? What are my members trying to tell me? And we also have a habit of, all humans have a habit of negative bias, as they call it. We hear the negative message often louder than the positive message.
Every time.
Also one of every time. So that's one of the other things I try and help affiliate owners with, is like, no, but there's this huge 95% huge positive response, don't lose that in the whole picture of things, focusing on that 5% where there's room for improvement as such.
And it's viewing it as room for improvement rather than failing. But it's also, again, I was talking to, might have been on the $1 Million Coach podcast yesterday, we were talking about, the value of having your own coach is that we're kind of like the bumpers on a lane for bowling. Like, we're going to stop you throwing that ball 5 lanes over because that would be silly, but we're going to let you navigate your path, but stop you getting too far off. And here's your intention. Here's where you want to be. We're going to keep you pointing in that direction. And also with that perspective going, this is not the end of the world. Everybody doesn't hate you. And it's having that outside perspective where you as the coach are not emotionally attached, and you can have that clarity rather than going, I feel attacked. It's like, I understand you feel attacked, but let's look at the bigger picture. Looks what is not being directly said in this, and having that perspective is very, very powerful. Like, I've experienced that in my own journey by being coached, in my client journey with FitFilliate, which still continues today. It's having that outside perspective to get to get you out of your own head almost, and take away that emotion for you, because as humans, if someone says something and that we feel like we suck, it's really hard.
It is, yeah. It is. No, and I think, and I think that's also part of the whole understanding people side of things, is that appreciation that you might be saying one thing, but they could be hearing something completely different. And that's where, certainly as a coach, whether you're on the floor or you're coaching other coaches, building that skill to understand how someone could interpret your message is also so valuable for everyone to do. Yeah. And it's something that, it's often forgotten about.
It is. And it can be a very powerful shift if you can get to that point and put your ego to the side and go, maybe I'm not the best person to bring this team together and unite this team and build that. But if I had the tools and the skills to do that, and like you said, affiliate owners can almost take what they need in small digestible chunks and go, okay, well, I'm just going to work on this bit to start with. Let's do that. Okay. Go away for 6 months, come back. Hey, Farran, I'm ready to do that next step, because, and that's what you're here for.
Yeah, and I think also most affiliate owners recognize that their team, there's often a lot of dynamics in the team as such. You have people leaving and going, part-timers, full-timers and things like that. And maybe just at that exact moment in time is not the most opportune moment to maybe train up somebody to be a coach developer within their team. But it could be that 3 months down the road, that's the case. And that they can, exactly.
Yeah,
because I think it's like learning ring muscle ups or something, there are prerequisites to it. So putting an entire system in place that is not only run smoothly, but all the skills are in house immediately at top-notch level, that takes time and effort. Yeah. And just like everything is an ongoing process. But what I hope to do is give at least the skills and the pointers to the team to start working on that process.
And start building on it, that's for sure. Yeah. I think that your mission with Virtuous Coach is definitely much needed. And I know that you've had, conversations with affiliate owners who are very grateful for the opportunity to work with you. And, you're having that positive impact, which is what we can hope out of what we do, what's our footprint or our legacy that we leave.
Yeah.
If coaches, because I know that you work with both coaches individually as well as affiliates as a whole, if someone's interested in finding out more about what you do, how do they connect with you? Because we'll put all the links in the show notes as well. But
no, I'm glad you actually mentioned coaches, Lisa, because we've spent a lot of time talking about affiliate owners and things like that and the system. But often coaches can find themselves in environments that are maybe not that supportive to their own learning as such. And that's where we hope to provide them with the inspiration and the tools and everything they need to elevate their own coaching, even if they don't feel fully supported by the affiliate that they're in. So, we can't forget about the actual coaches.
No, and that is the power. And thanks for bringing that back. Because you're right, even if you're not getting development in your affiliate, which of course, clearly we hope they are, but if you're not, that doesn't need to stop you seeking out this higher level and basically walking the path in the affiliate.
Yeah, exactly. And I also recognize that coaches, especially part-time coaches, going away for a weekend to a course that costs a lot of money might not be the easiest choice for them as such. And that's where we hope to offer something that's complementary to that as such, to help them at least make progress in their own development. So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing, you have to pay a huge amount of money and go away for a weekend to do something. That there are other ways to approach their coach development.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So if someone wants to find you and to learn more about what you do, how do we reach out to you? How do we find you in the world of the socials?
In the world of the socials, I can be found under Virtuous Coach and Virtuous Coach Development on Instagram. My website is virtuouscoach.nl. But if you type in my name, Farran, Farran, you usually come across me as well. So there's no escaping me. But yeah, feel free to, everyone's free to DM me or send me an email or anything. Even if you have questions in general, there's no sale pitch involved. I really am there wanting to help coaches and affiliate owners take the next step, even if it's not with me.
And, you know, one of the things that I love that you do every week is the Ask Me Almost Anything Monday. It's a good little asterisk in there, little almost anything. Yeah. But, you know, I think that's a great opportunity if people think that maybe they have a question, but that think, well, maybe it's dumb. I guarantee you someone else will ask it. It will, and you can, you know, amazing resource there, and you're very accessible and very approachable. And, you know, I love that about you, that you know, you live your mission, you live, you know, you're so passionate about what you do, and the power of, you know, change that can be affected by, you know, amazing coaching. So I encourage anyone, if you're a coach and you want to be better, if you're an affiliate owner and you want to be better, or you want to make your team better, definitely reach out to Farran, Virtuous Coach, and she will be able to get you started on the right steps to where you want to be.
Indeed. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time today, Farran. I've loved the chat. I know we get to chat every week, but I'm glad we get to share one of our chats with the world. So super excited for this. So thank you again for your time.
No, thank you very much, Lisa, for having me on.